This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Let's talk about some other releases. These are television characters, by the way. Luke Gallows, he's going to be cut loose. Shad Gaspard, Jillian Fletcher, Taryn Terrell, Lance Hoyt, Chris Pavone, and all of them are told there's just budget cuts. But Gallows, we know, is going to go on to become a pretty big deal. He's going to have quite a run in New Japan, have a run with Impact, and then, of course, sign for big money to come back to the WWE. And these days he's on Impact, part of the Good Brothers with his pal Arn Anderson. I think his wife at the time was Taryn Terrell. She's also a part of this released group, but the other...
Wait a minute. You're talking about Gallows?
Yeah.
Nope. Taryn Terrell was actually...
Oh, that's Drew Galloway's. Yeah.
Drew's wife.
Yeah. My apologies. Correct.
You're very seldom ever incorrect on something like that. Thought I would just,
I'm glad you did. You know, here's what happened
out there.
I saw Gallows and Galloway and, got my wires crossed. So thank you for the correction.
It's an honest mistake. You don't make many of those.
Let's talk about her though. She was briefly suspended before eventually being released. I guess there was an incident back in August. She was arrested on a domestic dispute charge at a Los Angeles hotel. And, apparently she got loud. Hotel security was called. The police came. Ultimately the charges were dropped. But apparently she had heat with the office, not only because she got arrested, but because she didn't tell the office. And I think that this was the issue with the whole, and I don't know, I mean, you've never spent much time talking about it. I think this was the heat with the Enzo situation, several years later, where he had a situation and ultimately the charges would be dropped. But the issue wasn't necessarily that he was arrested. Obviously that's not good, but that he didn't communicate it to the office so they could have planned a defense or gotten out in front of it or protected themselves somehow. Is that the crux of the issue with Terrell here and perhaps Enzo, that they just didn't tell the office?
Yeah. One train of thought would be what happens on your personal time is in your personal life. The reality is you're much better off if you do have an incident of any kind, let the office be the first one to know. So whatever damage control, now it's in their lap. They can do whatever they feel is necessary. You're better to go ahead and just transfer it to them. What do you want me to do about it? How do you want me to handle it? If I'm the person that's the subject of what's going on, if you try to just think it's going to go away, that's Fantasy Island. You know, it's like something happens to someone in the business, give it one day and it's everywhere. So I think that was a mistake. I think the thing with Taryn involved Drew McIntyre and the two of them. It started off as innocently as going to the Playboy Mansion. I think it's where the party started that night. And it spilled back to the hotel. And I guess things, you know, couples, and probably not a good idea to stay at the company hotel if you're a couple and you have tendency to get loud with each other, which I think is really all that happened. Is just they got into a big, loud, screaming fight and intoxicated, which everybody's probably done 1,000 times. Just so happened the police got called. It was the company hotel. And it became a lot bigger than I think it really was.
Well, ultimately, that relationship would end. They would divorce the next year, and well, things are going to look up for Drew Galloway. We know him these days as Drew McIntyre, the incredible run he's had since his return and winning the title at WrestleMania, et cetera, et cetera.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.